What up, y'all? Salute, salute. It's your boy ZYIR, BattleThon Ent. I'm here right now. Huh? Wow. Supreme Court of the State of New York, New York County. Mr. Velez, Street Star Norbes. The URL's motion to dismiss was denied. The URL's motion to dismiss was denied. I'm about to break this down for y'all. Give me a second. So let me just scroll down for you so we can just get straight into it, man. I'm not gonna waste y'all time. Okay, the court heard oral argument on defendant's pre-answer motion to dismiss via Microsoft Teams on March 17th, 2021. For the reasons set forth below, the motion is granted in part and denied in part. Right? This action arises out of an alleged oral agreement to form a partnership. The complaint alleges 16 causes of action: wrongful dissolution, misrepresentation, negligent misrepresentation, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of oral joint venture of partnership agreement, breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, promissory estoppel, unjust enrichment, quantum merit, whereas it would be merit, equitable accounting, violation of the right of publicity, New York civil rights law, conversion, defamation, declaratory relief, determine the existence of partnership, declaratory relief, dissolution by decree of court, and declaratory relief, plaintiff's rights to partnership property. All right? Now, let's go. Defendant Ultimate Rap League is a limited liability company organized under the laws of New York State, compliant. URL hosts a cappella rap battles, including live events and pay-per-view online content, as well as streaming content. Since 2009, URL has hosted rap battles across the United States and internationally. On the 81st page, compliant, the majority of the 412 paragraphs are devoted to chronicling many of the events that the URL has hosted between 2009 and the present, identifying the events by date and indicating which rappers performed. Okay, so this is why I say this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous because instead of the URL just saying, you know what, let's break this guy off with a piece of what he is owed. He's owed money, severance pay, some type of package, and he wasn't given that. So it's like a slap in the face. So on the flip side, instead of the URL thinking, damn, maybe we might be putting a lot of people under the gun if we don't just give this guy something. Instead of thinking like that, they say, you know what? Nah, we can fight this one. We're right all around the board. Any real leader is going to make sure they bite the bullet so the team don't got to fall. But we going to see. We gon' see. What do I know? Okay. In 2009, Plaintiff was approached by defendants to be a partner and to form what would become the Ultimate Rap League, and that plaintiff, Velez, defendant Troy Mitchell, defendant Eric Beasley, and defendant Gene French, which is Chico, agreed that plaintiff's pivotal role in the partnership was to create the structure for the Ultimate Rap League. And that, on or about October 26, 2009, the Ultimate Rap League began its operation as a New York general partnership with Troy Mitchell, Gene French, Eric Beasley, and Dagoberto Velez. The complaint alleges that from 2009 onward, plaintiff understood himself to be a partner in URL. Plaintiff's role was to acquire the talent for URL events, including, but not limited to, recruiting rappers. The complaint alleges plaintiff was wired money to cover the expenses of URL by professional football player Gerald McCoy. Wow. Now, this is March 22nd, you guys, so this is recent. This was just filed by New York courts. You guys can see the dates up there. March 22nd, 447. You guys see the date. Complaint also alleges plaintiff occasionally used out-of-pocket funds to cover URL expenses, such as a hotel room or a flight for talent related to an event. The complaint alleges, without further detail, that plaintiff would share profits with defendants when made available from some of the URL events, more specifically, Born Legacy and Proving Ground events. Plaintiff allegedly received profits in cash. The complaint acknowledges that plaintiff never received the contract in writing for the plethora of services that he was providing to the URL or a written employment agreement from the URL. The complaint nevertheless alleges that the agreement was that the four partners, Mitchell, Beasley, French, and Velez, would be equal partners that would not only help production, but split all profits equally. The complaint does not allege, pardon me, wow. Okay. The complaint nevertheless alleges the agreement was that, okay, the complaint does not allege a date or a specific statement or surrounding circumstances regarding the oral agreement. After more than 10 years of promoting plaintiff as a partner on or about Tuesday, April 28, 2020, defendant Ultimate Rap League published a press release on various social media platforms saying that it is dissolving its relationship with plaintiff. Wow. Plaintiff then sent a formal demand for an inspection of the books and records of the URL and a demand for an accounting of financial information of the URL League from 2009 to present. Plaintiff alleges he received a response from defendant's counsel denying plaintiff's request. The heart of plaintiff's 16 causes of action is that plaintiff was allegedly a partner in URL, and then URL publicly ended its relationship with plaintiff on the 28th of April 2020 without offering to buy out plaintiff's membership interests. Further, plaintiff seems to allege that the plaintiff was cut out of a lucrative financial deal between URL and non-party Caffeine Inc. to supply battle rap content on Caffeine's social broadcasting platform. And this is where it gets interesting because the courts are now speaking on the matter of caffeine and where they come into this. Finally, plaintiff includes allegations that defendants used images and videos of plaintiff and promotional materials without plaintiff's written consent. I could just say, I myself personally have viewed dozens of images of Norbes at some of the earlier URL events. I'm talking about like 10 years ago. I've, with my own two eyes. pictures, footage of Norbes talking to artists from back then who are still battling now. Yo, when I tell you Norbes is on it right now, it's just, you know, and me just covering news topics and stuff like that, you know, we can't take anything away from the URL for everything they contributed to the culture, but to think that, damn, that they would oust him like that, you know, and my big question is, you know, even if they feel like he's this bad, terrible person, and as smart as Beasley is, or as I would hope he is, why not just pay him? Like, I don't know, as opposed to having them open up your financial records and see everything, and then now you have to have other artists, you know, become involved in it. It's too much, man. Like, it's too much. Like, why you wanna, why drag everybody into it? Yo, 540 Dre, salute. It's just too much. Like, why do y'all want to drag everybody in it? Okay, so now let's check the rest of this out. On a motion to dismiss, the court must afford the pleadings a liberal construction, accept the facts as alleged in the complaint as true, accord plaintiffs the benefit of every possible favorable inference, and determine only whether the facts as alleged fit with any cognizable legal theory. All right? Then they show you a whole bunch of case notes, give you case references, basically. A motion to dismiss based upon documentary evidence should be granted only where the documentary evidence utterly refutes plaintiff's factual allegations, conclusively establishing a defense as a matter of law. A pleading must be dismissed where it fails to state a cause of action. So, the complaint fails to allege the existence of a partnership. The formation of a partnership requires a shared purpose and knowing mutual assent. The formation of a partnership requires a shared purpose and knowing mutual assent by all parties to the partnership. A partnership is an association of two or more persons to carry on as co-owners a business for profit. Partnership law. No person can become a member of a partnership without the consent of all the partners. When there is no written partnership agreement between the parties, the court must determine whether a partnership in fact existed from the conduct, intention, and relationship between the parties. So basically what they're saying is, due to the fact that the URL is saying that Norbes was not a partner, and due to the fact that there's no written proof that Norbes was a partner, the court therefore now has to find substantial evidence that states they had some type of agreement, friendship, bond that was going on at these events. They have to see text messages. They have to see pictures. They have to see screenshots, receipts of money being sent from different people within this group that said that no, Mr. Velez is not a partner. So now the judge can say, well, why did he receive this deposit from you? Why did you show up here? Why did you text him to come here? Why were you doing this many transactions with this man if he was just a fan standing on the stage? Why were you doing this many transactions with him? And that's what the court is going to want to determine. And here we are. What's this in my pocket? What the hell is this in my pocket? Yeah, I'm traveling so much. I'm always having shit in my pocket. So, here we go. To determine whether a partnership was formed, the court looks at factors such as the intent of the parties, whether the parties share joint control in the management of the business, deposits, sending money, receiving money, booking flights, booking hotels, sharing joint control, whether they share profits and losses, and the existence of capital contribution. You see what I'm saying? Mm-mm-mm. And there's, if he has proof that he sent money out, received the money, received the text around the same time if you send a text message to somebody, right, that pings off of a tower, and then you send a deposit out, a bank is wireless, is digitally keeping files of every transaction you do. So they match the time of the transaction, and then they match the time of the text messages, and then they match the date of the event, or the date of the events. When they add all of these things up, like, who thinks that they're not going to put two and two together and say, yo, this guy actually did contribute a lot? Defendants argue in support of their motion to dismiss that the undisputed existence of the entity Ultimate Rap League does not name plaintiff as member is fatal to plaintiff's partnership claims. Defendants. So basically, what the URL is saying that Norbes' name is not on the LLC, so therefore, how could he be a partner? But now, what's going to happen is the judge is going to look at that and he's going to say, well, if this man helped you guys from the beginning and continued to help you out even further, why would you guys create an LLC without him but still ask him to help you? That's very strange, especially being that he was there. Like, it's just crazy, man. I don't want to go. The courts the judge is going to break it down. The judge is going to break this down. It's bad. The judge is going to break this down. It's bad. In opposition, plaintiff argues that defendant's documents are irrelevant because they were created after 2009 and without plaintiff's knowledge. Plaintiff argues the complaint alleges that plaintiff and defendants formed a partnership in 2009 prior to defendant's alleged LLC formation some 4 years later and separate from any alleged then-existing legal entity. Defendant's attempt to attach corporate formation documents as documentary evidence is nothing more than an apparent attempt to ignore the pleading standards, neglect the allegations in the complaint, and distract the court from the complaint with defendant's narrative. Wow. Defendants, on the other hand, assert that the majority of plaintiff's claims are premised upon an alleged oral partnership that somehow operated in the shadow of two long-standing, well-documented formal business entities, Smack White, a New York corporation, and URL LLC, a New York Limited Liability Corporation. While the corporate formation documents may cast doubt on plaintiff's claims that plaintiff was a partner in the partnership, the existence of a registered LLC does not utterly refute plaintiff's allegations that there could have been a pre-existing or coexisting partnership among plaintiff and the individual defendants. Do you see that? Do you see that? And that is where the court says, hold on. That's where the judge is going to look and say, you know what? There's shady business going on. That's where the judge is going to say there's shady business going on. Give me a second. Give me a second. So I got it. Second. So, right? Now look at that, right? The judge is going to say, so y'all are trying to tell me y'all were working with this man, Smack, then Beasley. Y'all all form an idea, and all within this business, you guys didn't attach his name to the LLC. The judge is going to look at that and say something is not right. I promise you, the judge is going to look at that and know something is not right. Now let's continue. The court must then evaluate the sufficiency of plaintiff's allegations, as stated above. The relevant consideration when determining whether an oral partnership exists are the intent of the parties, whether the parties share joint control in the management of the business, whether the parties share profits and losses, and the existence of capital contributions. While no one of these factors is dispositive, the court finds that the plaintiff has failed to allege sufficient facts to support any cause of action based on the existence of an oral partnership. Construing the complaint in the light most favorable to plaintiff on the motion to dismiss, the court can infer that plaintiff has alleged the intent of the parties to form a partnership from plaintiff's allegations that was approached by defendants to be a partner and to form what would become the ultimate rap league. However, plaintiff pleads no other facts in support of the parties' intent, and plaintiff has not alleged all of the elements required to establish a partnership. Plaintiff has also sufficiently alleged joint management of the business at the pleading stage. A partner executed many activities that included but were not limited to the following. This is where they state everything that Norbes did. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. You're not even going to hit that like button, y'all. Hit it. Hit that like button. This is where they state. And y'all can talk if y'all want. Y'all can talk, y'all talk. If y'all got anything that y'all want to say, go ahead. Talk, y'all talk. I'm here. I'm not going to deny y'all that. Go ahead and talk y'all talk, please. Feel free. Feel free to talk your talk, please. Okay? So, many activities that included but were not limited to. Okay? Norbes lost $30,000 invested in an event supposedly. So if he's got receipts on that alone, bro, and this is what I'm trying to tell them. This is what I'm trying to say. This is dangerous. I'm trying to say it. Shit is dangerous. All right, bet. Here we go. Right? Many activities that included but were not limited to the following: recruiting talent, on-screen and support staff, engaging in promotions, hosting battle rap events, which he did, organizing battle rap events, which he did, executing contracts, which he did, raising capital. Not only did he raise capital, but he spent his own money, and developing business concepts for the Ultimate Rap League. Yes. Norbes developed a lot of ideas for the URL. P is very bright on developmental ideas for battle rap, but Norbes contributed a lot, man. Norbes contributed a lot. And that from 2009 to the present, the Ultimate Rap League has featured the talents that plaintiff has secured to perform for the company at its live events and on its digital platforms. So, once again, this is where we come to the videos that we saw on The Untold Truth. No, Norbes didn't do this, Norbes didn't do that, and then you look on The Untold Truth and you see Geechee Gotti, man. You know, I just want to say thanks to Norbes, man, coming out here and coming to see me, man. You know what I mean? Like, he came out here. A number of artists, known artists that are still lit. Salute to all of them, because they said what they said. All the court is doing now is using everything that the URL did and what the artist said against them in the case so that they can prove Norbes to be right. Because that's all they're going to do. I mean, any person who's smart would know, damn, I did text him, and I'm pretty sure he saved those messages. Damn. He does have a lot of phone records. Damn. He does have a lot of history on maybe Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Who knows? You know, so it's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. Okay. Defendants argue that plaintiff does not allege to have been involved in business decisions, including financial decisions, and did not have access to or control over the streaming part of the business. Based on the record before the court, URL has three aspects to its business: recruiting talent, hosting live events featuring that talent, and streaming or otherwise selling footage from the live events. According to the complaint, plaintiff was involved in 2 out of those 3 aspects of the business: recruiting talent and hosting live events. Accordingly, plaintiff has alleged sufficient control over the management of the business to survive a motion to dismiss. So now, what they basically just said in that last part, accordingly, plaintiff has alleged, basically what they're saying is, Norbes has given us in the court enough evidence to stand up in court with this motion to dismiss, right? Nevertheless, because basically, so the URL puts in the motion to dismiss. They're saying the court is now saying at this part of the court papers and the court documents is that, okay, you guys put in a motion to dismiss because he stated these things. Now they partially dismissed the URL, but at the same time said, you know what, you guys are right in the fact that he's not on an LLC, but that doesn't refute the fact that he had partner management, partner rights. It doesn't refute the fact that he did things that would, to courts, to a judge, to a jury, say that, hey, he was a partner. Now, boom, the judge comes back and say, you know what? We understand that you guys are saying that he wasn't on the business, but we're telling you he has enough evidence. And his evidence stands up against your motion to dismiss. Nevertheless, plaintiff's partnership claims fail because plaintiff fails to allege that he was responsible for the losses of URL, which was clearly a startup business in 2009. The complaint alleges that plaintiff would share profits when made available from some of the URL events, more specifically Born Legacy and Proving Ground events, and receive these alleged profit in cash. The complaint also alleges that plaintiff and defendants shared losses on an equal basis, but alleges no facts or specific instances that would support this allegation. As stated above, conclusory allegations need not be taken as true. The only expenses, which are distinct from losses, referenced in the complaint were reimbursed. Additionally, the complaint does not allege that plaintiff ever contributed capital to URL. Now, if he ever took money out of a personal account and sent it to any battle rapper, they have proof that he used his own capital. If he can show that he has a message or a screenshot sent to anybody that says, hey, did you get the money for your hotel? Did you get the money for your deposit or your back end? And they backtrack and see that the time from the message and the deposit matches, and they say, hey, look at this deposit and look at this message he sent this artist. And they responded, yes, this money came out of this account with these last 4 digits. That account belongs to him. That doesn't belong to any 3 of them other people. It's as simple as that, y'all. It's not hard. This is not hard. Like, that's why I'm looking and I'm like, yo, why do URL and just give him like a few M's? Like, just give him a few M's, keep him good. Like, but instead they, you know what I mean? Like, they playing horrible. Like, why put the whole team under jeopardy just because of y'all got pride issues or whatever? Like, I don't know what it is, but like, this is not smart. It's just not smart. Accordingly, plaintiff has failed to state any cause of action based on an alleged oral partnership, and the following causes of action must be dismissed: wrongful dissolution, breach of oral joint venture or partnership agreement, breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, equitable accounting, conversion, declaratory relief, determine the existence of partnership, declaratory relief, dissolution of by decree of court, and declaratory relief. Plaintiff's breach of fiduciary duty and quasi-contract claims are sufficiently stated breach of fiduciary duty, promissory estoppel, unjust enrichment, quantum merit. So, let me just go back here real quick. We're on page 9. Okay, bet. Here, although plaintiff's claims are insufficient to support a finding of an oral partnership, plaintiff clearly had a close. Now look at this. Here we go. Here we go. It's getting crazier. It's getting crazier. Right? So, although plaintiff's claims are insufficient to support a finding of an oral partnership, plaintiff clearly had a close relationship with the individual defendants and worked with them on what appears to be a near daily basis for a decade. For a decade. The complaint details collaborative efforts between plaintiff and defendants and frequent communication that went into planning, promoting, and executing a decade's worth of live events. See St. John's University versus Bolton, 757. They got the case right there. They referenced the case right there. The lawyers that Norbes is working with is no joke. They no joke, y'all. This team that he got is no joke. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. Indeed, the facts presented here are very similar to the facts that this court analyzed in Pye versus Blue Man, right? There, as here, plaintiffs alleged that he had made significant creative contributions to an entertainment group only to be left in the dark regarding the group's finances and cut out of a more lucrative financial agreement. This court sustained Pye's breach of fiduciary duty claims based on the nature of the close personal and professional relationship between plaintiff and defendant at the pleading stage, except to the extent they were barred by the statute of limitations. The same result is appropriate here. Likewise, plaintiff's quasi-contract claims may stand. It is clear from the complaint that there was a decade-long course of conduct which involved plaintiffs rendering services and defendants accepting those services to the benefit of the overall enterprise. Do you see how they're... Yo, listen. Salute to Norbes lawyers. Salute to that legal team. Oh, my God. Salute to that legal team. Salute to that legal team. Do you see the way they breaking this down right now? Yo, it is clear from the complaint that there was a decade-long course of conduct which involved plaintiff rendering services, defendant accepting those services to the benefit of the overall enterprise. Okay? Plaintiff has alleged sufficient facts to proceed with the discovery on these claims, manifestly. If, as plaintiff alleged during the oral argument, the URL/caffeine transaction resulted in a $113 million payment to URL that involved transferring the broadcast rights to a decade's worth of performances that plaintiff arranged.